Am I enjoying retirement? I am surprised at how much, even in the short span of time, how much I've enjoyed the time so far. It's been, I'm telling you, the word is gift. It's been a gift to me. You know, considering the load I think I carried within the city, particularly in fire prevention for 17 years, and knowing I did my best, I can turn around and leave, say I gave it my all, and consequently I think it makes it that much easier to enjoy the retirement time I have now. What do I miss most about the job? It's definitely the guys, the camaraderie. It's not that you ever took it for granted, but considering I was there for more than 32 years, it was a big part of my life. And just the casual conversations, the banter, that's what I miss the most at this point. My educational efforts took a whole new level when I began writing for The Sun. Henry Bosworth was very inviting. I think he knew what he was doing. He asked me for a photograph, and next thing you do, he created a byline, and next thing I know, there were 200 articles later. And then Quincy Access TV just gave me this opportunity to reach out to so many people within the community with, I think, very important information. And considering the feedback I've gotten over the years, a lot of information that people weren't aware of. And it was very important to me. It just added to the passion I have, because so much of prevention, so much of code enforcement has to do with education. And so the Quincy Sun and Quincy Access TV gave me that opportunity, and I'm very, very grateful for it. I do wish I still had that outlet, and that's one of the things you give up in retirement. And it made me think. Just recently, there was a fire in a adjacent community, and there was something involved in that fire that Mark and I, for one, never discussed. And coincidentally, a year ago, I sat down with my sister, and we were talking about old times and the impact our father had on our lives. He was a firefighter, a captain in this community for 30-something years as well. And we grew up with naturally being taught fire prevention, fire safety in a very loving way. And she mentioned how she would never allow her daughter to go on a sleepover without knowing if that homeowner had working smoke detectors. That never occurred to me. And this recent fire I'm talking about, coincidentally, there were neighborhood children there on a sleepover. Well, fortunately, they had working smoke detectors, and they were alerting and left the home. Now, being at home and being retired and aware of that fire, I was raring to go to either write an article about it or to discuss it on TV, and it was very frustrating. It happened to be last night when I knew I didn't have access to those tools. Fortunately, this interview came about, but that's going to be the frustrating part. Photography, I do have other passions, fortunately. I bike a great deal, I kayak a great deal. One thing has led to another in terms of photography, and I've been very, very fortunate to win prizes or to get some covers and acknowledgement with the photographs. I'm very much open to thinking out of the box, and I definitely am very much open to possibility, and I am going to go and work in the private sector. Now, I'm either going to use my background, if I do, so be it. Otherwise, I'll go on to something else, possibly more lighthearted. I would love to integrate the ability to communicate, whether through writing or what have you. What was the greatest contribution I gave to the city? And I immediately think of, instead, what the city has given to me in return. You know, I've been very, very fortunate in whatever I have given, and I believe I gave it my all. What QATV has done for me, and I think the community as well, in regards to fire safety, I never knew what to expect when I was first asked to do TV shows. Ultimately, it's hard to believe, one evolved into another. I got more enthusiastic about the medium, and I think basically I've done 40 discussion shows, public service announcements, and my frustration is that Mark and I started animated programs as well, and I think all of those options were just a great way to reiterate with people important aspects of fire prevention. The cartoons were they ran roughly a minute and a half to 2.5 minutes. They were succinct, they were to the point, and they were done lightheartedly. And considering the subject matter, that's not the easiest thing to do. Do I have a nose in real life? I do, but I love the character. I smile. Every time I walk by it, I smile. At one point, Mark put a football helmet on it with my glasses sticking out, and they're just a great method to get the point across as well. And of course, the discussion. I had a retired firefighter from Boston come up to me, and he said, I am learning so much from those programs. And that was one of the things that I fed upon when I would go out to the community at a luncheon diner, and someone would give me feedback on those shows and how they've impacted their lives. And that's part of my gratitude as well. It's very hard to leave the opportunity for those programs behind and those educational efforts behind. It's very, very difficult for me to do that. But again, I have to focus on the future, and hopefully I'll bring a part of that experience and a part of my ability to write with me in the future as well.